The war starts. War starts, and it so happens that the Kauravas are not able to fight Pandavas, and Bhishma had to go and support them there as well. So on that day, Bhishma defeats Dharmaraja, Bhimasena, Nakula, and Sahadeva. All four of them are defeated at the hands of Bhishma. But again, not killed. He said that he won't kill, right? So they are defeated at the hands of Bhishma. And again, the same thing happens on the day 9 as well. Day 9, Bhishma's war on that day is more ferocious than all the rest of the 8 days put together. He kills more people on day 9 than what he did from day 1 to day 8. So looking at that, Pandavas and Pandava side of the army just gives up. They don't even fight back, because there seems to be no point in fighting back. They feel like, okay, you kill how many ever you want today. Today is your day. We surrender. So that is the kind of warfare that, or skill that Bhishma shows. And at a certain point, Arjuna gets an opportunity to shoot arrows at Bhishma, but Arjuna doesn't do anything. Arjuna just keeps staring at Bhishmacharya, because again, he has listened to the entire Bhagavad Gita, but that dosage is not enough for Arjuna to pick up his arrows and shoot against his grandfather. So again, Sri Krishna really gets mad this time. He doesn't even summon for Sudarshan Chakra. This time, he's a charioteer, right? What will he have in his hands?
The chariot.
Ropes and whiplash is what he will have, right? With that, he jumps off of the chariot and he says, with this, I'm going to kill Bhishma. He does that again. And then Arjuna, the same episode, the same scene repeats, and Bhishma and Arjuna is at the feet of Sri Krishna asking him not to do that. And then Arjuna says, I'm not able to do this. Now at this point of time, after killing all these people, it doesn't even, because they have already seen so many losses on the Pandava side also, right? What is the point? Even if I'm going to get the kingdom, even Dharmaraja is going to rule over this, what kind of satisfaction or what kind of happiness will I have? I'm not seeing any happiness at the end of it. Then again, Sri Krishna repeats the entire essence of Bhagavad Gita. He says that don't think that you are the one who is doing it. You are here to perform your actions, but the actions are already decided by Ishvara, by Shiva himself. You are only the executor. You are only a machine who delivers that, who does that. But you are not, don't think all these decisions are yours and you are making a decision, you are killing or you are choosing not to kill. All this is not your choice. Not your choice. You are just delivering your duty. You are delivering what you are supposed to do. Yes.
So basically what Krishna is saying is that this was fate and like the gods have decided and you're the one who's actually doing it.
Correct. You are only doing it, but this has already been planned or orchestrated. So don't think that you are making a decision and my decision will save or kill someone. No, that's not happening. You're only someone through which the action is being done, but you're not the decision maker. And then after listening to all of that conversation, Arjuna then gets back and Arjuna breaks the spear of Bhishma, and he brings upon some kind of pain on Bhishma that day. But it's nothing in comparison to what Bhishma has done on that day. It's whatever Bhishma has done is way beyond imagination of anybody. And that night, Duryodhana is very happy, Dhritarashtra is very happy listening to the entire episode from Sanjaya. That night, Dharmaraja calls upon for a meeting. Dharmaraja says, enough is enough. I will go back to forest. I will continue with my penance. I will continue with my tapas. There is no way that we are going to win this war while Bhishma is alive and we are weak and we cannot kill Bhishma. We cannot do that. And then again, Sri Krishna Paramatma goes on to repeating his lecture, his motivational speech and everything. At the end of it, Dharmaraja says, the only way we will win or we will get over this war, or we will see an end to this war in our favor, is by killing Bhishma. I think the time has come for us to go and ask Bhishma as to how we can kill him. And he feels, all the five brothers feel extremely sad, saying like, why should this duty, the duty of a Kshatriya or duty, be so harsh? Like, why should it be this difficult? What wrong did we do that we have to go through so much pain of killing our own people? And he's not just like any other grandfather to us. He is the one who brought us up. He is the one who got us educated. He thought so much about us. He got Drona as a teacher for us, and he has been protecting the throne ever since. Ever since he was born, he never became a king, right? He had all the qualities that are needed for someone to become a king, but he gave up the throne. And he has ever been protecting the throne. And for the last, ever since Panduraju passed away, who is acting as a king? It is Bhishma who is acting as a king. Yeah, sure. The throne is owned by Dhritarashtra, but Dhritarashtra is blind, and he did not wage any war. He did not do anything substantial to protect the throne, right? It was always Bhishma who protected it. And now we are thinking of killing him. How cruel this is. How cruel this entire, the keeping up the duty or delivering the duty need not be so cruel. Why is it so cruel? They feel very bad that night. And having said that, they have this bigger duty at their in front of them, right? So if you remember, on the day one, before they started the war, Dharmaraja goes and he asks for permission from Bhishma, Dronacharya and Kripacharya. Do you guys remember that episode? On that day, what does he ask Bhishma? Anshi.
For the permission to kill him.
For the permission, but then again, he asked for another thing. Yes.
I was going to say.
Same thing. How can I kill you? That is what Dharmaraja asked Bhishma. What was Bhishma's answer at that point?
He said.
Let her tell.
He told Dharmaraja that he can't kill him, but I forgot the way.
I think he said he'll drop his weapons if one of the Pandavas die.
No. Hasini.
He said that they have to make him drop his weapons, or at least make him like with no weapons. That's the only way they'll be able to kill him.
Correct.
He didn't give any specifics.
They'll only be able to kill him if Shikandi's in him.
No. On that day, he doesn't reveal any of that. On that day, he says one last thing. You go and wage the war. You go and fight. Try your best. There comes a day when you will not be able to take my wrath anymore. When that day comes, you come to me, I'll tell you what to do next. Until then, go and fight. Go and deliver your duty. That is what he says. And now, all the five Pandavas, along with Sri Krishna Paramatma, have come to a conclusion that this is the day that Bhishma was talking about on the day one. We have arrived at the day when we are no longer able to take his weapons. So let us go. Then Sri Krishna Paramatma takes. So one question. When I was reading this, I had one question. The entire world by that time knew that Shikandi was born only to kill Bhishma. They know the answer, right? Sri Krishna Paramatma was already there. He knows the answer. Then why are they going to Bhishma and doing all this drama? Any guesses?
Right time? Because Bhishma told them to.
Bhishma told them to, but again, they were the ones who initiated, right? At the beginning of the war, nobody asked Dharmaraja to remove his armor and go and ask Bhishma. It is taking his permission. Because nobody can really kill, or no weapon can harm Bhishma if he doesn't permit the weapon to hurt him. So without Bhishma agreeing to it, they cannot really go and attack him, or they cannot really expect that Bhishma will be defeated. So they go to Bhishmacharya and then they say, Tata, how can we defeat you in the war? We know that we cannot kill you, but how can we defeat you in the war? Then Bhishmacharya says, he smiles and he says, now he understands, and he also doesn't want to fight anymore, because look at Duryodhana. Duryodhana is constantly torturing him, constantly telling him things like, you're not doing your job, you're not delivering what you're at your best of your capacity and all of that. And for a person like Bhishma, he doesn't want to die a death where he's sick and he has become weak, and then nobody wants them to be remembered like a weak person, a sick person, and who turns into a vegetative state, right? He's a great king, great warrior, and the right way for him to see death or invite death is on the battlefield. And there is nobody in the entire world, including gods, that could kill him. The only person whose arrows could hurt him are of that of Arjuna. And this is the only war where Arjuna will be fighting against Bhishma. So this is his only opportunity to give up his life. So Bhishmacharya also wants to give up his life. Right? Then another question, Bhishma agreed to fight on behalf of Kauravas. How is it fair to tell the opponent team how he would die and what they should do in order to defeat him or kill him? Is it fair? That too, the entire thing is happening in front of Krishna, who constantly says that dharma is the right thing. You need to uphold dharma. So is this upholding dharma? Why?
Because Dharma is on the Pandavas side, and if they win, then Dharma will
Flourish.
Yeah.
You need to be louder. It's very difficult for me to understand what you're talking. Mic is only to capture it on the video, but if I have to hear, you have to be louder, right? Yeah, that is correct. But it is very debatable. Sometimes I get really confused. So what are they trying to say? Are they trying to say that it's okay to break smaller rules in order to achieve bigger dharma? There is a dialogue in the movie, Rajamouli's movie RRR, where the hero writes a letter to his wife saying that I'm reaching my goal, but but the path that I'm taking doesn't seem to be right. I'm reaching the goal, but what about the path that I'm taking? Is it okay? I don't think I'm taking the right path, but certainly I'm reaching the goal. Should I focus on the goal or should I focus on the path? That is the question that the hero would be dealing with. It's a very interesting question. Lot of times when you hear to this particular Yuddham war, you'll have that question. A lot of people have tried to answer it, but even after thousands of years, this question keep popping up in your head. It is very difficult to answer this question this way or that way, when there is absolutely no way of reaching or attaining, upholding dharma other than breaking a rule. Then probably it's okay to break a rule. That is how I understood this entire thing. So finally, Bhishma says, again, nobody can kill him. You can only make me leave my astra, leave my weapon. I will leave my weapon when the opponent is a female, when the opponent doesn't have children, when the opponent doesn't have weapons in their hand.
Why when the opponent does not have children?
Because if there are no children, the belief system in Sanatan Dharma is that they won't be able to attain moksha. They need to have next generation. Otherwise, they will not attain moksha. So moksha means no rebirth, breaking the cycle of rebirth. And once again, Bhishma doesn't want to be the reason for them not attaining moksha.
So he doesn't want to end their bloodline.
Correct. That's right. He can kill a person, but he doesn't want to end the bloodline.
Didn't he also say that he won't fight if the person is a transgender?
I'm coming to that. Let me. Then he doesn't kill a person when they do not have a weapon, when they do not have a chariot that is equivalent to the one that he is sitting on. He doesn't attack. There are so many conditions in which he doesn't attack. And the last one that he recounts is if a person is a male, then but then he's called by a female name, even then he doesn't attack. And finally, he says, I will not attack a person who is born as a female and turned into a male. That person I will not attack. What you need to do is, you need to place Shikhandi in front of you and you need to have Arjuna shoot arrows at me, because only Arjuna's arrows will be able to kill me or defeat me, or they will only hurt me. Others' arrows will not really do anything to my body. So, if you want to win, do this.
Why only Arjuna's arrows?
Because Arjuna is blessed. Arjuna is blessed by all the gods. And who is Bhishma actually? Do you know who Bhishma is? Huh? Devavrata is the name of Bhishma, that's correct. But who is he originally? Eight. Vasuvus. So he is God, he is one of the gods himself, right? A normal human being cannot kill him. Arjuna is Amsha of Indra and he is Nara. Nara is there are two people, two sages called Nara Narayana. Narayana is Vishnu, Nara is Arjuna. And Arjuna got the blessings of Shiva, got the blessings of Indra, got the blessings of all the gods. So he has the stature, or he has reached, or he has attained a level where he can hurt Bhishma. No other warrior, a normal warrior, cannot hurt Bhishma. So he is telling them how to wage the next day war. Next day war, you have to place Shikhandi in front of you, shoot from the behind. They have this conversation and they take the blessings of their grandfather, and grandfather blesses them victory. And then they leave. And on the way back, Arjuna says, I can't do this. This is completely against the law, against dharma. Let Shikhandi deliver the arrows. Let Shikhandi release the arrows at Bhishma. We all know that Shikhandi is born for that reason, to kill Bhishma. But what Krishna says is, Shikhandi is born and Shikhandi's role is to be the reason for Bhishma's death. Being a reason for somebody's death is not equivalent to killing that person. You see? Shikhandi will be the reason for death of Bhishma, but Shikhandi cannot kill Bhishma. So, there is no way that Shikhandi will be able to kill Bhishma. Anyways, why this unnecessary discussion between you and I? Tomorrow, what needs to happen will happen. When it happens tomorrow, you will understand how it has happened. So, forget about everything, go back to bed. Tomorrow we will meet in the battlefield.